February is Black History Month.
And that means exciting and engaging activities are happening around campus.
And I'm John Williams with the weather.
We have that and more. This edition of 15 News at 5 starts right now.
Thank you for joining us this evening on 15 News at 5. I'm Rachel Painter.
And I'm Colton Woods.
The first month of the year is over and a lot has happened so far in Valpo. The spring semester began with fraternity and sorority life recruitment and bid week as new members and freshmen joined the community. Martin Luther King Day events took place across campus as students, faculty, and the community gathered to celebrate and honor the legacy of Martin Luther King Jr. Over 21,000 meals were packed for MLK Day as the student bodies served Northwest Indiana intramural floor hockey and indoor soccer hockey kicked off the semester to keep students active and having fun. Philanthropy events such as Sigma Lambda Gamma's Penny Wars occurred this past month with Lambda Chi Alpha maintaining their winning streak for the 5th year in a row. TEDx also occurred January 20th as multiple speakers spoke about sparking your imagination. It's a wonderful January across campus, and we cannot wait to see what February holds.
As February is Black History Month, the Black Student Organization has planned several events to celebrate. To kick off the month, an event called Just Cause took place, where the audience had the opportunity to be the judge in a court case. A number of other events will take place throughout the month, such as movie screenings, banquets, service trips, and much more, that are also CORE approved. To learn more about upcoming events, search BSO_Valpo or Valpo Student Life on Instagram.
Penny Wars was back on campus last week, and it came down to the last second. Sigma Lambda Gamma hosts Penny Wars on campus every year to support the Susan G. Komen Breast Cancer Research Foundation. The way to play is that each group has a bucket where anyone can put money into it. Pennies count as positive points, while silver coins or dollar bills count as negative points. This year came down to the last second, where just 15 minutes before the event ended, the members of Lambda Chi Alpha brought around $500 worth of pennies. This crowned them the champions of this year and earned them this title for the 5th year in a row. The total numbers for this event are still to be released.
The Valparaiso University Police Department has relayed this week's report detailing different crimes and police interactions that occurred on campus. The Valpo CVA department has the exclusive details. On January 10th, an officer responded to subjects on Gellerson Hall's roof. This action is in violation of university policies, and the subjects were adequately reprimanded. On January 11th, an officer responded to the chapel due to a homeless subject using the building as a shelter. The officer then transported the subject to an overnight homeless shelter. On January 12th, during a routine traffic stop, an officer checked a driver only to learn that there was an active felony warrant out for the subject through the state of Michigan. The officer searched the vehicle and found both narcotics and paraphernalia. The subject was arrested and transported to Porter County Jail. Other reports this month will be found in the upcoming copy of The Torch. If you need to report a crime, please call 219-464-5430.
We have 15 Weather's John Williams in the studio. So John, what's the latest update on those cold temperatures coming in?
Well, Rachel, we have a couple weather headlines to do. For starters, we have freezing temps for our Friday tomorrow. We also have our groundhog forecast, and we do have some warmer temperatures ahead as well. Currently looking is 32 here in Valpo, 32 in Gary, 28 at Chicago O'Hare. Rockford is at 24. At Pontiac down here is about 32. Kankakee is also at 32 as well. Michigan City is at 32. And then as we advance into our wind chills, you can see we're 23 here in Valpo, 20 in Gary, 17 in Chicago O'Hare. Rockford finds itself at 11. And I'll have more on our forecast later on.
Thanks, John. After the break, we'll take a look at whether or not Puxatawny Phil saw his shadow.
And the Lake Geneva ice castles are in need to be rebuilt. Stick with us.
In a world where entertainment is at risk, one man is given a mission, but he is about to face his biggest challenge yet. He will race against the clock and open doors to new possibilities that will save weekends as we know it.
What are you doing?
I'm looking for free movies.
Oh, I'll help you with that.
Just go to movies.valpo.edu. They have all the best movies, including The Hobbit and 22 Jump Street.
Whoa, it's that easy?
It's that easy.
Grab some popcorn, grab some buddies, and watch movies.valpo.edu's great selection.
The U.S. saw over triple the average amount of tornadoes in January. That's according to the Storm Prediction Center, which says it received 160 preliminary reports of tornadoes this month. The average number of twisters touching down the first month of the year usually sits around 50. Most storms struck the south. 16 states experienced tornadoes this month. On January 12th alone, an outbreak across 7 states produced 70 tornado reports. All of the reports have not been surveyed yet, so experts say they may see a slightly lower number of confirmed tornadoes.
A warmer than normal January has sidelined many winter activities, including the ice castles in Lake Geneva. Now crews are working hard to build the glowing castles for the end of this week. Colton Milowski drove down to check in on the lakeside ice architecture.
A tremendous rise and fall of the castle, literally.
The ice castles in Lake Geneva were scheduled to open on the final weekend of January, now racing to adjust, opening on the first Saturday in February.
Yeah, it's a bummer when it melts out and we see all of our progress go away, but it always motivates us every year we look at it as a challenge.
Warm weather melted down most of the work building manager Alberto Huerta and his team accomplished. He says it's all part of the game when forced to rely on the weather to play nice.
We shot up really quick. We were 20 feet tall in 5 days. So usually we melt out to stakes and grass. This year was a little different. We had ice, but just different challenges with thinner bases and stuff like that we had to compete with this year.
The crew has not let adversity wear down their collective spirit.
Just seeing this castle just coming to life, it's just having that determination, especially the morale gets kind of low at points when you see the ice castle get so big and then it drops down, and it's just that drive to we're going to get this thing done.
Assistant manager Colleen Anderson says the team is working at a historic pace.
This year it's projected to be I think 15 or 16 days, which will be the fastest in the company history of building any ice castle this year.
Staff say everyone who had tickets for last weekend will get their money back, and the ice castles are expected to stay up now through the end of February, as long as the weather allows.
Today is Groundhog Day, and for one Pennsylvania town, the celebrations are taken pretty seriously. Douglas Braff has the story.
It's almost Phil's time to shine, but it's also the time to shine for local businesses here in Punxsutawney.
Well, we have 6,000 people that live here, and it swells to 20 or 30,000, so that you can just imagine the impact that it has on our economy here.
And this year, the expectations are quite high.
I feel everything's sold out. The tickets they're all sold out everywhere. The hotels are all booked around us.
All in the hopes of showing off that small town charm.
Just want everyone to come and see what a great little town we have, and maybe someone will move here, start a business here.
For this family that moved here in August, they tell me Punxsutawney's charm has been a whole new world.
The kids go to school here now, and we didn't move too far, only like 45 minutes, but Punxsy's different than other towns. We kind of like a groundhog a lot.
And why move to Punxsutawney? Well, it's a story as old as time.
An inner circle member. You know, fell in love with somebody who wears a top hat on Groundhog Day, and he kind of likes it, so I like it too.
They say Punxsutawney has a lot of quirks, but also a strong civic bond.
Because here, everybody knows everybody in this town, so somehow you're all connected and you're all just friends without even knowing it.
And even if old Phil sees his shadow on Thursday, the town will be filled with warmth.
I just want warm weather. But we still love them no matter what.
Reporting in Punxsutawney, Douglas Braff, 6 News.
In Punxsutawney, Phil did see his shadow, so there will be 6 more weeks of winter.
Coming up after the break, John Williams will have your full forecast.
And we'll take a look at this week's past Valpo sports. Stick with us.
Well, I think that's all we need. Thank you so much for coming in. We'll be in touch.
Okay, this is it. Just shake his hand and walk out with your head held high. Don't mess this up. Thank you. Nailed it. Don't let a bad handshake get in the way of getting the job you want. Find out more at the Career Center.
What is passion? At Valpo, it's something that pours out of us uncontrollably. It's a late-night shot of caffeine, cramming for finals, a jam session with friends. It sees deep into space, turns big stuff into small potatoes, floats boats, and floods the senses. Passion is alive. It has a heartbeat, and it lives in you. How do we know? Because at Valpo, passion is who we are.
And as Rachel mentioned, our groundhog report, the groundhog did see his shadow, so that means that's 6 more weeks of winter, and it certainly has felt that way. As we look at our winter weather advisories, you can see we have some wind chill. We have a wind chill advisory in effect for our Illinois counties. We have a winter storm advisory for the coast of western Michigan, and then even out into New York, there's wind chill warnings, and even up in Maine, blizzard warnings. So let's look at our future temperatures. You see currently it's about 31 here in Valpo. Watch as we advance into tonight, and it's now Friday morning, 9 here in Valpo. This is the actual temperature. 2 Chicago O'Hare, 0 in Rockford, 1 in DeKalb. So you see outside of our cities closer to Lake Michigan, we're going to be in the single digits as we advance more into the day. Friday at about 4 p.m., 14 Valpo, 13 Michigan City, 12 Chicago O'Hare, Rockford at 11. And then as we advance into Friday night, you see not too much change in these temperatures. So this is a prolonged period that we're going to be having freezing temperatures. And then as we advance into the day, Saturday, it's warmer. Now let's look at the future wind chill. As you can see, we advance. This is midnight tonight. We're at -4 here, -11 in Chicago O'Hare. We advance into Friday morning, -19. That's how it's going to feel. And then we advance more. Noon on Friday, it's still -6. So this is very dangerous cold. Make sure you bundle up and make sure that you are warm. And then even Friday at 6 p.m., it still feels like 9 degrees here in Valpo. And then again, these are our current temperatures. We look nationally. There's that Arctic plunge that's really going to come in and bring us these freezing temperatures. Our thoughts are with the people of Memphis and, of course, all across Arkansas and Dallas. They saw snow. They saw ice. It has been a mess. Please be careful with travel and Continue to look across. Meanwhile, Miami, 78 degrees, 36 in New York, 35 Buffalo. Los Angeles is 63 degrees. I have your 7-day for you coming up.
Yeah, Rachel, I don't know about you, but those temperatures look pretty awful tonight.
Yeah, I really do not want to walk in classes in that tomorrow.
No way. After this break, we'll take a look at this past week's sports.
Although the students may have been on winter break, it was anything but for your Beacon athletic teams. Valpo Bowling opened up the semester with gusto on January 20th in Waterloo, Iowa, in the Brunswick CVSC Peacock Classic Tournament. After putting away Illinois, Wesleyan, and Quincy University in back-to-back matches, the first loss came from the 16th nationally ranked Newman University. They quickly rebounded with a narrow victory against host University Upper Iowa, edging them out 874 to 860. Most recently this past weekend, the team just finished third at the Red Flash Invitational in Atlanta, Pennsylvania. The Beacons opened up the tournament in dramatic fashion, initially being down 1-2 behind against the host team, St. Francis. Valpo knocked down 207 pins to even the match, eventually going on to beat St. Francis in a come-from-behind win. The Beacons ended up finishing third in the tournament, bringing them to 32-34 in the season. Men's basketball decided to show up and show out at the Arc this past weekend against the Evansville Purple Aces. Although Valpo might be on the lower end of the conference play this season, the game looked the exact opposite from start to finish. The Beacons scored the first 12 points of the game completely unanswered. We can go on and on about Nick Edwards' 10 assists and 3 steals. The night belonged to senior forward Ben Krikke. Krikke scored 30 points, just one short of his career high. He would end up shooting 10 of 14 from within the paint and 10 of 11 from the charity stripe, tallying 9 rebounds along the way with the win. Valpo improved to 10-13 on the season and 4-8 in conference play. Valpo Tennis secured a pair of consecutive victories yesterday, taking down Purdue Northwest in Park Forest, Illinois. The Beacons won all of their doubles matches for the day and won 5 of 6 in the singles matches as well. Olivia Cernworka was named the Missouri Valley Conference Singles Player of the Week award for 10th time in her career. She picked up her 55th singles win against SIUE and is 2 wins away from the top 5 in program history. Her performance helped boost the Beacons' record this season to 5-1. Well, you know, I was actually at the women's basketball game this weekend, and Olivia Brown scored 11 points. Which is pretty impressive. So, unfortunately, we did not pick up that victory. We were just behind 2 points against UIC.
Coming up, we will have a final look at your 7-day forecast.
VUTV, your campus, your story.
So as we look ahead for our 7-day forecast, you can see our high is 12 degrees with a low of 6. As we head into the weekend, we do start to see that warm up. We'll be looking towards next week, Wednesday and Thursday, for our next chance of rain and warmer temperatures.
Sweet. Thanks, John. Hey, I have a question for you. This one came in from an Instagram follower. What do you like to do on a snow day?
It's a lot I like to do on a snow day, but what I love to do most is build a snowman.
Oh, yeah. That's great. What about you, Sebastian?
Well, to be honest, I don't really get out as often as I like to during the winter time, so I just stay inside and do my schoolwork if I have any. But winter break, I really shouldn't be having any schoolwork, but if possible, I do like to go outside and build those snowmen.
Yeah, I can totally agree with staying inside. I'm not about the cold temperatures.
Yeah, I like to sled. That's pretty much it. But if you have a question for us, send it our way on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter, and we might answer it. You can send screenshots of forums, questions you've been asked, or questions that you have yourself.
Before we go, we wanted to say happy birthday to our business director, Keaton Lewis. From all of us at VUTV, thank you for joining us this evening, and we'll see you next week on 15 News.